This time we don't have to edit. We're gonna have to
Just go
keep it
with the
cool.
flow.
Yep, keep it cool. This looks like whoa, we're live.
That doesn't look bad either.
That was all right?
Yeah, that looks good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, just make sure the comments are on, and we're all set to go.
Awesome. So, Moon Knight episode 3. What do you think of it? General thoughts.
Best one so far.
I agree. I really liked what was going on. I liked the Layla character more in this. I liked Moon Knight. We got a lot of Moon Knight in this. I was like, super excited. We got Moon Knight and Mr. Knight. And as we talked about previously, I think I like Mr. Knight a lot more than I did the second episode.
I agree with that. I concur. I love that. And I love that. I mean, it was sad that they had to show the one part with the other character that passed away.
Yeah. That was sad. He died in a skiing accident.
Yeah, skiing accident. Yeah, and he was supposed to play
Midnight Man.
Midnight Man.
Yeah, he's supposed to be Midnight Man, which makes sense. He was he had the black mark and everything. He had all the collection, the antiques and everything, and that's what Midnight Man was. So a little bit of background from him in the comics was he was nicknamed Midnight Man because he always struck at midnight.
Yeah, and
he was like a thief. He always, would steal stuff and was like a crook that struck at midnight and stole. So.
Yeah, like I said, you're the expert in this. So,
yeah,
because I'm still learning Midnight, the whole character of all the three personalities. And
speaking of the three personalities, we got the when he blacked out in the beginning of the episode when Mark is chasing down those thugs trying to find Harrow. You see him black out, and then he accuses Steven of killing the guys, and Steven says, "That's not me." So I personally took that as, a hint to Jake Lockley, his third personality in the comics.
Definitely.
Yeah, because I feel like if it was Khonshu, he would have announced himself, and he didn't announce himself, because Khonshu's there, and Khonshu's a jerk, and when he's around, he makes his presence known. So I think if it was Khonshu, he would have been like, "Oh, I'm taking over the body," but so he didn't.
Do you think he's going to be a taxi cab driver?
No, I don't think he. Well, maybe he might. I think the fact that he woke up in the when he came back to Mark, he was in the taxi cab. I think that was like a little nod. So maybe, I think it maybe is like a little Easter egg. But I don't know if he'll be a cab driver.
No,
I think that they changed up Steven. Mark is more or less the same from the comics, so I think they might change up Jake a little bit just to distinct them.
Yep.
But yeah.
Oh, okay. I can see that. Okay. Alrighty.
What do you think of the Layla character? We got a little more for this episode.
Which character was that?
Layla, his wife.
Oh, Layla.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I'm liking her so far.
Yeah, I liked her.
I like to see more of her backstory.
Me too. And I like to see the connection grow between her and Steven, because you can tell there's like a lot of tension between Mark and her and Mark. But Steven,
she loves him.
Yeah, she every single time.
He wants Mark to be, I'm getting confused over the names. Hold on.
Yeah.
Confused. Mark and Steve, she likes Steve for who he is, the loving part of him. And,
well, I feel Steven was created as almost like a barrier to express what Mark couldn't to Layla. So all of Mark's favorite, all of Mark's favorite traits of Layla were put into Steven. So that's why they get along so much, I think.
Yeah.
And I like that too. I really like this episode. Now we're not getting the whole blackout effect. Well, we did in the beginning, and that was a hint to Jake. But I like now that we're getting, Mark and Steven transitioning seamlessly. Like we see a lot of Mark as the brute strength, fighter, and then Steven is the brains, and he can solve the puzzles, and he's like Egypt and everything.
I like that part that he had to let him in to solve the puzzle.
Yeah,
because he knows Egyptology and he knows all the stuff. And the other guy's just brain dead. He's just a fighter and the warrior part of him.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I love that.
And I hope if they do show that third personality, what that third personality will bring to the show.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and obviously the darker side, because he was ruthless and he just brutally killed those guys. And that was actually, it wasn't a whole bunch of gore. Here you go, Vicky. It was brutal. For Marvel Studios, because especially they're owned by Disney. And like you see the cinematography of where when Mark comes out of it, you see the body slide off the knife, and you see all the blood on the knife and everything. You see all the bloody bodies around, and I like that Marvel's going that darker route with Moon Knight. So
and that's why they had to put all those new codes in so the kids can't watch all this stuff anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
And I like it because they're making shows for everyone now. You got shows for the adults. You got Miss Marvel coming out, which is for the kids. And
Yeah.
I really like that they're able to expand their genres for everybody, not just, a particular audience, but everyone now.
Yeah.
So I really like Khonshu. I think it's funny. I like his relationship with the gods. One thing that annoyed me a little bit in this episode was probably how the gods just like kind of made Khonshu feel like a piece of garbage, I guess you could say. They didn't really listen to him. And I think it's only so annoying because if there's such an accusation that Amit is about to be released, then why wouldn't they look further into that,
Yeah.
Like obviously if it was Khonshu just pulling some BS and, it was like another one of his shenanigans and they were like, whatever, Khonshu, don't waste our time. But if it's such a big accusation where Amit's going to be released and could cause thousands of lives to to die and then be a catastrophe, then why wouldn't they take that a little more serious? So they're just going to take the word of Arthur saying, oh, I was just in the desert. But why are you in the desert? They never questioned him. And I thought it was a little annoying how they just kind of shoot Khonshu and put him beneath,
Yeah.
Because now
he's in that little statue.
Yeah, now he's in the statue, and like now there's neglect, like they just neglected that whole situation.
What's going on?
So,
what's gonna happen to him? I wonder if he's gonna get released out of there. Yeah.
I think he will, just because in the comics, Khonshu was there, but not all of Moon Knight's power stemmed from Khonshu himself. Yeah, he resurrected him and he was the Avatar, but the way that Marvel Studios is doing it now is making his suit, his power, everything comes straight from Khonshu. And now that Khonshu's dead, I don't think they're going to keep him dead, just because then you won't have Moon Knight anymore in the show. Yeah. So there's definitely going to be something where Khonshu's going to come back. And I bet he'll be back by the end of the next episode.
Yeah, I hope so.
I hope so too.
Yeah, because I was like, oh no, what's going? Oh, it's going to be great. This next one's going to be so good.
It is.
I know it is, because this last one was probably the best one.
Yeah, I loved it. I think I
totally enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm not really familiar with the comic, but I'm very into this whole new this new show. It's amazing.
It is, especially from Marvel Studios.
I'm going to start reading the comic because I'm really liking it. I know it's different. Like you said, it's a different flow. But I want to read it some more. And I'm surprised I've never read this because it's been around for so long.
It has, yeah.
And over the years, and then when I was younger, why did I ever read it? I've seen them on posters. I've seen the big Marvel poster, like my nephew was telling me he has this old poster from back in the 1980s, and he's like got this big, like all the Avengers on it, and he's on it.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
and he's been around, and like
Brain Dead or something. Was like,
and he's in all the video games and everything. You have Marvel Ultimate Alliance, all the mobile games, everything, and Moon Knight's everywhere. So he's becoming definitely more popular thanks to Marvel Studios, and I feel like he was an intriguing character before. He was just underrated. Everybody kind of saw him, and then everybody hears the rumor that he's like a Batman gimmick. He's like a ripoff. Oh, no. And I totally disagree with that. And if you watch the show, you can't compare him to Batman. No. Maybe in the comics, the most you could say.
If Batman got stabbed like that, Batman wouldn't be.
yeah. That was an amazing action.
Has no, I think that separates Batman from a lot of superheroes because he just has no powers. And he just survives it. But yeah, if he would have got stabbed like Moon Knight got stabbed the other night, they were sticking sticks and shit in his head. Come on,
Which I like the nod that they had in the beginning of the episode when he said, how would you there's Khonshu saying, how would you deal against Arthur if you didn't have my self-healing suit? Because then later on it foreshadowed him being stabbed a whole bunch of times. And then I really loved the beginning when he's fighting the three guys on the rooftop. And I think the fight choreography was awesome. We had a lot of action this episode, and I think it's funny when the guy's doing all the dances and like moving around with the knife and everything, and Mark's like, are we fighting, or are you doing a little dance, or what are we doing here? And then I like when the guy licks the knife, and it's like the perfect opportunity. You want him to punch him, and like in any other scenario that wouldn't happen, but Mark just takes no crap and he punches him twice in the face. He's like looking the knife and he just starts wailing on him. I thought that was cracking me up. So I really like that.
Oh, that was funny. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
funny. Then he blacks out and doesn't remember.
Yeah, and then he doesn't
and then
know.
He sees him and he gets out of the cab.
Yeah.
And the guy's running. He's running down the street.
Yeah.
He's like, wait, you know.
Yeah.
You know that he became someone else.
Yeah, no. Which I wonder what happened, because why would he let him go,
out,
you know? Yeah. And you know, a lot of people don't like the mystery of what happens when he blacks out, but I like it because you said in the first episode that it just leaves room for imagination, and you can go anywhere you want. You know, you can picture anything you want to happen to get to from point A to point B. What happened in that time frame?
Yeah.
So I thought that was awesome.
That was awesome. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's funny how we can cover this one really quick. You know,
yeah, this one's
it was so engaging.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the last one, you know, when we were on was like, you know, it was like,
yeah.
But this one was,
this one.
I think I'm understanding what's going on, and excuse me, I'm understanding what's going on in the in this series, and
well, like I said earlier too, I just think it's cool now that we move past the stage of learning what's happening, and now we're just going along with the adventure.
That's why I think this last episode was so good. You know, because we're going along what's going on now.
Yeah, we're not trying to figure out, put pieces together.
The thing is, we got 3 more episodes to go. What's going on?
Yeah, and that I'm a little nervous. Well, the gas was going on this one. This was a fast-paced episode. There was, I feel like, no dull moments in this episode. And I really liked the slower moments and the more, you know, intimate moments between Layla and Mark and Layla and Steven, you know, like the whole dynamic where you kind of learning about the relationship, especially when they're on the boat and it's Mark and Layla talking about, you know, why didn't you tell me about Steven? And, you know, she's like, we could have talked about it. And he's like, I don't talk about it, you know? So they kind of had that moment, and you see where Mark for a second lets his walls down. And then once he realizes he did that, then he builds his walls right back up, you know? So I thought that was good. I thought the slower moments and the more, you know, emotional moments hit when they needed to, but I don't think it slowed the episode down at all.
No,
I just thought it kept moving right along.
You know, Disney so far, you know, been
I think they've done good with the series, except the landing, which I'm nervous because it seems like all the shows, the Marvel Studio shows, have like nailed everything except the landing. You know, I always think that they wait too much until the end, and then they can't resolve everything in that last episode. So I think right now, I'm pretty confident because just as many questions as were asked were getting answered at the same time. So I think it has a pretty even balance of just going with the flow. And I think by the end of the episode, we'll be satisfied, and I think it'll have a good ending.
Oh, I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah.
Well, where do we go from here now? You know, now we just really blew through that.
Yeah. Well, actually, I want to get your opinion on that fight sequence when he is getting stabbed and everything.
Oh,
like I thought that was
and I was like, wait a minute, I thought he was a great fighter, and I'm like, and I'm seeing him like, and then all of a sudden he gets mad and just like nothing ever happened.
And well, I mean, I think that's fault to Steven, because I think when Steven came in, it threw him a little off guard. You know, because because he was kicking everyone's butt, you know, and then he was going, and then all of a sudden he's choking this guy out, and then Steven's like, "No, Mark, stop," you know, and then he's like, "Oh, what are you doing here?" He's like, "I'm in the middle of a fight," you know, and then Steven takes over, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah,
he's like, "Time out, let's just chill the F out." Like I was cracking up, and I didn't like the comedy part of, you know, Steven or Mr. Knight in the second episode, but I thought it really worked this time.
Yeah,
and then he gets stabbed one time, you know, which threw him off, and then he's like, "All right, take the body back. I don't want it."
Yeah.
So I thought that was good. And then the last thing I wanted to touch on before we speculate what comes next is I thought the last scene was very like intense, like with Arthur and how he comes back in after Khonshu was put in stone, and then he's like, you know, he's like, "I want to tell you a secret," and he says, I believe he says, "I enjoy dealing pain on your behalf." And he said, you know, "I owe my victory to you, because if I would have never knew the value of healing." And he's like, "Thanks to your torment, you know, I have the power to do what you couldn't, and you forged me, so I owe my victory to you." And I thought that was just like, you know, that just said it right there, that Arthur's the villain and he's ruthless and he's going to do whatever it takes to get his job done, you know, what he wants to do. So I thought that was just like, I don't do it justice. You have to watch the episode for yourself, but I think it was a very powerful and intense scene. and it really shows like the psychological aspect of like how Arthur is feeling and what he feels towards Khonshu. And I think it's just a really well executed scene and outstanding performance by Ethan Hawke and Oscar Isaac, because these guys are just killing it. These guys are killing it.
I know they're busting on his Mandarin.
On his man. Oh yeah,
I heard it all online.
Really? Was he?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Who's the actor that does Shang-Chi?
Simu Liu. Yeah,
he said, he needs some work.
He said, yeah. Which I mean, you know, so but
his Mandarin was terrible.
You know, but I think it's all right though. Yep.
I don't want to even hear the rain through the microphones.
Nah, probably not.
Probably not. But it's boring.
But so I thought Ethan Hawke is killing it. But like just the way, you know, Oscar Isaac seamlessly just flows through like transition between Steven and Mark when he's in the desert and he takes the mirror off the car and he's like, all right, you're up, Steven. And then he just like, oh, cheers, mate, you know, and then he comes right through and it's like he's just so good.
But he's such a great actor.
He is. He is, and it's just so good.
I looked at some of his early work, and he's an amazing actor.
Yeah,
just amazing.
And I feel like all his superhero roles
and how he can just switch like that. Like, I mean, it was like smooth too. He did it. You know, not a lot of people can do that. Like,
no,
they look kind of silly doing that. But
just there.
It was like, whoa, you know.
Yep.
And they picked a great guy to do it. They picked one of the best actors in Hollywood.
Oh yeah. Well, I just think he was so underutilized in Star Wars as Poe Dameron. You know, he wasn't. You know, what did he do really? He didn't do much. And then
flew around the ship.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And you know, if you have a great actor like that, I feel like he should be like center front.
Well, you know, when they start remaking those Star Wars like that, you know, and you know, I'm a big Star Wars fan, as you can see. But yeah, I still love Star Wars.
Oh yeah, I still love it too. Yeah,
they could use a lot.
Well, I'm just saying, like his potential, because now we see how great he is. You know,
like you said with Han Solo, they got this old dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm not dissing Star Wars for that. I'm just saying, like he could have been utilized better just because how good he is. I think they could have gave him a better role. That's all.
Yeah.
And just like X-Men Apocalypse, you know, I think that was due to script and everything, and the way the direction was in that movie. You know, but I thought he was great in the role of Apocalypse. He would have been cool if it was handled well. Yeah. Unfortunately, it just wasn't done that well. So, but where do you think we're gonna go from here? Do you think Khonshu will be free by the next episode?
No.
You don't think so?
No, I think we're gonna start seeing a lot of backstory stuff probably. Or maybe.
I agree. You know, I think maybe by the end of the episode he will be like free again, so we see like Moon Knight. But I agree. I think we're gonna start learning a little bit more about Layla and Mark. You know, their previous, like their past and everything, and what they did before in their relationship. I think we might see what happened to Mark and how he got the powers, maybe. You know. So yeah, I think you're right. I think we're gonna go back in time now for the next episode and see a little bit more backstory.
Yeah, more backstory. What this is all about. You know what happened to him and how he became Moon Knight and why he's so broken. And we got it. Yeah,
because there's a lot of questions of like he said to Layla earlier on. You know, I'm just saying this so we move forward, that he had it under control until recently. So I think we'll learn what happened that made him lose control, and then, you know, now they have to fight over the body, where he could probably before switch simultaneously when he wanted to between Mark and Steven, and now he can't. It's now whoever's in control is in control. You know, so I think we'll learn what happened where he lost control, and like you said, where he became more broken.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and then do you think that Arthur will release Ammit next episode? Or do you think that might be towards the end of the series?
I don't see why not. He's got everything he needs to do it.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was thinking. I mean,
they already moved the stars and they did all the
so now
he did the work for them.
Yeah,
pretty much. And then
he already found it. Remember at the beginning, he was already starting to dig. So, and he said, no matter what, keep digging. And you know, he got summoned to the trials of the gods and everything, and they let him go. So, and now Mark doesn't have Khonshu, so that just creates more time in between, you know, to stop him. And I think he's going to release Ammit. Or
I can't wait to see what Ammit's going to look like.
I know.
Must be a half hippo and
alligator and we're a crocodile, one or the other. You know,
it's not some horrible
CG. I know. Do you think Moon Knight, his costume CG, throws you off at all?
No.
No, okay.
No,
I've heard a couple things. Yeah, I like his costume too, and I don't think anything pulled me out for CG wise. But I've heard a couple people say that his cape looks a little weird. Like CG. I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch it. Maybe it's like the flow, but people said they didn't like the cape. I was hearing, or it looked a little off and it was pulling him out of the moment. But I had no problem like that. I think it was cool, especially when he jumped off and you get the crescent moon.
Yeah,
the cape.
I like that. It's like the way Batman's.
Yeah,
it makes sense. I thought it was. I think the whole costume, the whole getup is nice. And
yeah, I think it was good. I just wanted to hear your opinions on that. I think it was good though.
I think it looks great.
I think Moon Knight.
I don't think it's like really bad CGI.
Oh no.
Like some movies are just like I said. I think Disney, and Marvel Studios have really done a really good job of making things look good in all these series.
Oh yeah, for sure. Loki, Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Just amazing.
There's one spot in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but we'll get on that for another day. Yeah. There was one scene in there that was a little like, what the heck's going on,
Yeah, I know. I think it was a couple,
Yeah. But overall, yeah, it's good.
It's really, really good.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see where we go from here. I'm excited to see what happens with Mark, what happens with Arthur, Khonshu, there's a lot of stuff now, a lot of moving pieces, and I feel like these next 3 weeks are going to go by quick. So I'm just excited to see where it goes. And on the same note, we got the last day of Moon Knight is Wednesday, which I think is the 4th, May 4th. Yeah, May the 4th, which is
4th be with you.
which is awesome. And then Thursday,
Star Wars.
And then Thursday we got Multiverse of Madness. So we're gonna have a busy week that week. We're gonna have Moon Knight Wednesday, and then Multiverse of Madness Thursday.
Yep,
that comes out. So we're gonna be having a lot of content. Yep, and I can't wait.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah. But I think that works now. I think that's all for episode 3.
Yep.
We had a good discussion. We covered it. We had our thoughts and opinions. One last thing I want to talk about is what would you give this for a rating?
Oh God, jeez. I think last time I gave
you gave a 9 last time.
9 or an 8? 8 out of 10 or something.
Well, the first episode we gave an 8.5 because we were on the same we're on the same page. 9 was 2.
Do the same thing with this one.
9.
I think it's probably 9.5. I would give it a little bit more.
I think
it was better.
Yeah. Well, I think it was better, but each were very good in their own respective ways. So I think I'm just going to stick with a 9.
Yeah, okay. So
I'm going to stick with a 9.
The only reason why I think I went up that one little bit because I think the story kind of moved. It moved along.
It did, yeah.
You're not going, what? It really moved. And I think this next one's really going to shift, and it's going to be like, whoa.
Yeah.
And when we find out in that one, we're going to blow our minds probably again.
Yep.
Yeah, these writers are doing a pretty good job of making that happen.
Well, I think the last 2 episodes are going to be really good because I know press screeners and early audience reviews, they got 4 episodes. And we're gonna wait. Yeah. So, so I'm excited to see everybody's reaction. I'm excited to see what they're going to do later on in the 5 and 6.
Gotcha.
So, yep. I think that's it. I think we can wrap it up here. And I think everything was good this week. I loved it. And I'm excited to see where we go. Yep.
We're done?
Yep.
We're done. Okay, guys. We'll see you again next week for episode
4. Yep.
All right.
All right. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.